Welcome to your Inspirational Astrology Horoscope for Thursday, March 13th, 2014. I'm astrologer David Palmer, the Leo King, here to illuminate the collective consciousness. Positivity, positivity, optimism, optimism. I really want to talk about these things right now. That's because we have dealt a lot with Saturn. We had Mercury square Saturn. This week we have the Sun, which is going to trine Saturn, which means our awareness, our intellectual energies have had to deal with Saturn, which is restriction. Sometimes it can be very sober energy. It can also deal with, very upset, cranky parts of ourselves if we're not getting what we want, especially that's Saturn in Scorpio. Saturn in Scorpio is where the hand on the watch is, and it's in Scorpio. I've always looked at Saturn as the hand on the watch, and when it's in Scorpio, it's in desires. Are you getting your back scratched? It's about receiving. It's about intimacy. Are you getting the connection in your life from other people's resources, whether that's God's resources, whether that's your relationship resources, whatever energy this is dealing in our life with the receiving end. And whether or not we're open to receiving, whether or not we're open to trust, to allow things in. And the only way to truly receive is to be open, but it also has to be in your truth, dealing with no secrets, no lies, being pure in the energy of what you are in order to get 100% commitment and trust out of somebody. We can intuitively pick up on a lie. That's why Scorpios are so great at picking up liars, because they know they can't trust that person. They can't receive 100% truth from them. That's why I say, whenever, are you rooted in your truth? Well, are you truly rooted in your truth in your own life, to yourself? Are you just manipulating your own life, lying to your own self? The Sun is going to make a trine over to Saturn today, which is about highlighting living in this truth. Or on a more simplistic level, the Sun trine Saturn is checking up on your plans, becoming aware of what plans you can make in your life now, and also setting up a foundation of structure in your life. Now we're in the Sun with Pisces, which is about the ebb and flow and going with the flow. And in times like these, where it's about consciousness or unconsciousness in Pisces, remember it's two fish. One fish going up, the other fish going down. It's like this really big whirlpool of just, oh my gosh, am I aware, am I not? It's like, woo! Are you truly aware of, are you living in your truth right now? Are you getting everything that you want? Saturn has been stopped for weeks now. Saturn came to this position at 23 degrees and it stopped and gone retrograde. And whenever Saturn does this switching around energy, it's usually stuck in a position for about a month, which can be a month of, oh my God, we're not moving anywhere. Especially when you add a Mars retrograde to the mix and you're adding this big T-square with Jupiter, the planet of fortune, and everything heavily stressed by an opposition of Pluto and to Uranus with a square. This means positivity is really harder than usual because you really have to be living in 100% of your truth. You really have to be dedicated to a higher cause in your life and really connected to your higher purpose, to understanding this. The times are about bridging this new earth. And I say that very intensely, that the mind shift was no joke, that the energy that is shifting in our universe is towards a higher vibration now, that we're not allowed to play the unconscious card anymore. Part of the age of Aquarius, especially since we have Venus here and we have Mercury here, is about complete intellectual, psychic awareness. One where the mind understands the conscious levels. The mind does, not the soul. See, Pisces is about the soul becoming aware, where we are able to intuitively understand and consciously understand by an awareness of what's going on. But when we can add our mind to it, where we can intellectually use a conscious mind and connect correctly, our lives are changed. We are now embedding in what is called the secret. We're attracting what we want. We're stepping into the power of our true self. And with a moon in Leo, which is going to square Saturn today, this can be very frustrating for people who aren't happy. Especially this moon in Leo has been highlighted with a black moon that has entered Leo. It's a black moon in Lilith. This is like, people are not happy if they're really not, and they're going to take it out on other people. And they're going to push negativity, and they're not going to be happy. And you can see this around people now. And with Mars retrograde in Libra, you know, now you start to see the intellectual jabs come out, the speaking jabs, trying to even playing fields in nasty, dirty ways, which this can even be you playing it on yourself, where compassion is needed now. True happiness of self. The only way to be happy is if you're living in your truth. The only way to be living in your truth is to be happy. And so without these two energies working of self-love, of living in your truth, of not lying to yourself, of really truly giving yourself the energy to connect 100% with the universe, with God, how are you going to be happy? Do you go with the flow? Are you able to really make sure that you're going with the flow in your life? Or are you completely unconscious and you're only finding happiness in some future event? Because with a moon in Leo, like we've had over the last 48 hours, and with the ebb and flow of the universe and Saturn and Mars retrograde, where this frozen in time can just be so stuck on trying to get to move, you got to be happy with what you're with. You got to be happy and if you're living in your truth. Because if you're living in your truth, you should just be happy. This should be easy right now to flow. And I see a lot of everywhere where it's not. Because this big cardinal cross, which is brewing in April, which many astrologers think is horrible. And I'll be honest, as an astrologer myself, typically, that hair falling on my eye, typically this will be like, oh my gosh, yeah, what is going to happen? Is there a disaster? Maybe a world war? Maybe these things, you know, when you see this big of a cross, when you see it this intensely, in my opinion, these are all fears that you do not need to have in your life now. You need to step into positivity. You need to step into your truth. Whether you have to go move and root yourself in a better location now, you have got to step up to the plate. The universe is not accepting losers anymore. I know that sounds so harsh, but I'm a truthful person. The universe wants you to utilize your energy and step into your power so you can go with the flow and the universe can drive and make sure that you're going in the right directions. But if you're trying to take control and say, nope, I've got it the way I want to be, especially as we got a full moon in Virgo, which is building up, which is the total control freak of OCD, I got to have it this way, that way, and this way. Some people could come into some really hard energy zones right now of unhappiness, of projecting their negativity on others and starting to expose these parts of themselves which are not living in their truth. And today is one of those days of, are you happy with now, or are you happy in the future, or are you happy in the past? And you're not happy with now. Are you frustrated? The moon, when it comes into a square of Saturn, can really frustrate you. But with the sun highlighting it, you should not be frustrated because this should be long-term plans and you're just taking one step at a time. The tortoise is winning the race. We've got to make a left before we can make a right. We've got to make a right and then we can make a left. But if you're so all about like, I can't wait to get to the finish line, you're not even happy about the left turn, the right turn. This is highlighting how well do your plans work, because when I say you're living in your truth, you are so on plan that every day, no matter what is happening, is an accomplishment to the next goal, and you are receiving everything from the universe. If you were not in this energy, I ask you, why not? I ask you, what is there you can do in your life to anchor into your truth? Maybe it's time to step into the true identification of self. Maybe it's time to 100% root your energy and maybe move spiritually, physically, the energy to a life that will let you grow to where you need to go. And these are intense times, and this square in April is about the change, and I'm doing a video on this on the new earth that is being split ever since 2012, that the universe is taking people on a whole nother direction now of positivity and light, and it's whether or not you're willing to access this, turn off society and the world in the way that you've been told that you should do it, and whether or not you have the balls, the cojones, the power, the strength to do this yourself because you love yourself so much and you deserve that. You deserve that 100%. A moon in Leo, squaring Saturn and Scorpio, oh, that's so good energy if you know how to use it right. If you're so pumped and you're so in love with who you are and you're so jacked on living in your truth, man, you can really put a plan in motion that emotionally supercharges you. Trust me, I know. I'm born with Leo, Scorpio, all in my chart. Last things I want to say here, the North Node is in Libra. Inner peace is within your own realm now. It's within your realm to balance out your life, to have a plan now, that works and to take it step by step. That the universe is just not going to save you with one event that saves your life. It's multiple ways of living in your truth and living in a zone that makes it an everyday, powerful, transformational event of your life that is nonstop. This cardinal cross is here to make dreams true and you to connect with your energies that are truly yourself. But if you're having a really hard time, you've got to ask yourself if you are truly living in that truth. Because a day like today will highlight if you're truly conscious of this or truly living in a world of unconsciousness. Check out my website, inclusiveastrology.com, if you have any questions or if you want to have a one-on-one reading. Thank you so much for all of your support, and I will see you for the weekend forecast tomorrow.